Welcome to Special Report. This is brought to you by Tim's Weather Center News, and all of what you are about to see in this show, you can check out on our website, and we'll get to that later. But right now, we're going live to Ellen. Am I right, Ellen?
Close. Two ways. That's
But the topic is for this special report is stand by while I get you on the screen. The topic is why, because there's disabilities that you can see and you can't see, and we will break those down. But on your screen going live, take it away.
So yeah, disabilities, just touching on that, there's two types of disabilities. One is where you can actually see the person has a disability if they're using a scooter, if they're using a wheelchair, like myself, for example. I have a physical disability. I don't have, I have an invisible disability would be considered something like OCD, ADD. You walk up to somebody in the transit station, let's say, for example, and I mean, the person could have a plethora of different mental issues that you don't necessarily feel like they look completely normal, but they might have certain barriers, and that's called invisible disability. So yeah, Tim.
Yes.
Anything you wanted to comment on that?
No, keep talking to them about disabilities.
So right now we have, for example, in Vancouver, we have a huge disability issue coming up. Basically, it's a very political thing. We have, just like the United States has an election every 4 years for presidential candidates, we have the same thing. We have Justin Trudeau, who just defeated Stephen Harper and became the Canadian Prime Minister, and those elections happen every 4 years. At the same time, we have provincial elections, which is similar to the governments of each state. So Washington has an election every 4 years for a new governor. Arizona has an election every 4 years for a new governor. So we have a government that has been doing some very shady things towards people with disabilities in Vancouver. They claim that they're looking out for our best interests, and we even have a minister who is a Paralympian athlete. But in her one term as minister, she spent most of it prepping for the Paralympics, which is, I mean, I don't want to say necessarily bad things, because on one hand, if you look at her as a Paralympian athlete and you don't know that she's a minister, as a Paralympian, I think she's doing a very good thing for people with disabilities. But when the media crosses that by saying and what they've been doing is they've been crossing that by saying, look at this Paralympian and look at her political career. All the people of the province must, she's advocating and being a champion for all the people of the province. That is completely false, because a lot of the issues I mean, one major change for the issues of people in BC, she took away an annual bus pass, claiming fairness for the people of the province and giving them a little bit more money in their income assistance. But at the same time, those people that are on income assistance are so in such hardship right now, they don't have a choice but to take the money and leave the bus pass out of it. So now they're without a bus pass. So people on income assistance at the moment receive less than $1,000 per month, which might seem like a lot of money, but when you factor in the cost of non-subsidized housing alone, that can range upwards of $1,500, and there's nothing left for the people in the community to live off of. And we're not talking about cost of living expenses. We're talking about the bare basics. Food, going to the grocery store, making sure that you have enough food to get you through the week. We're talking about clothing, making sure that you're not living in rags. We're not talking about going to the movies. We're not talking about going to dinner with your friends. We're talking about making sure you are in adequate health. And right now, that's not. It's not. The people in a lot of people in Vancouver don't have that. So that's one big disability issue right now that's coming from our Canadian friends, and it's just being ignored by our government, and it needs more awareness, because it's. I mean, you might think that these political issues don't mean anything, but when you have people living on the streets in Vancouver, and we're not talking about crack addicts, we're talking about people. There are people with disabilities who obvious physical disabilities. People there's people with wheelchairs, homeless people that are on almost every street corner downtown because they can't afford the what the government is offering to give them uh, for basic living expenses, and it's issues like this that come up. I mean, even in the American election, these are issues that should be thought of in your own community. I mean, go to downtown Los Angeles, go to downtown Arizona, go to New York, Manhattan, and just count the amount of people that have obvious physical disabilities that are living on the streets. And I mean, ask them, why are they living on the streets? They might, I mean, the first thing they'll probably tell you is, I don't have enough money. And that's not their fault. A lot of people with disabilities aren't able to work. They're not able to, there's, for one thing, there's discrimination in the workplace. There's a lot of workplaces that love to hire people with disabilities, but there's also a lot of employers that won't hire disabilities because of the added responsibility. Another thing is government assistance. Is the government giving them enough money to, based on where they're living, to like, is the government giving them enough money in that respect to be able to live their life at the bare basics above the poverty line? And these are issues that all need to be addressed, just in terms of why we're electing the people that we're electing. So that's my little rant on politics.
Thank you, and we'll have more from him later in the show. But back here in the Mesa studio, I tell you, just he's even touched on, the funding for disability. It's not enough to live off of. It's barely enough to pay bills. Okay, but say you wanted to go down to the Walmart, or go down to say Jack in the Box, or go to the mall and pick up girls. Okay, everybody with disability loves that, and not only that, they can do that. Why? Because they are as normal as you. But we got some facts to let you guys know why. Because this is a big problem in the United States and in Canada and everywhere you go. So people with disabilities can do absolutely the same thing people without disabilities. For an example, a normal person can walk. A person with a disability can walk. They just go about it a different way. A lot of people that find out when someone has a disability, they don't want to talk to them. They think they're a little They think there's something wrong with them, which is very, very wrong. It should not matter that someone has a disability for people to talk to them. This is dedicated to everybody with a disability. Keep your head up and know that life is not over. Now, there is one more thing I want to touch on this because, it, people treat people with disabilities crappy. And I'll tell you that firsthand because, people don't give disability people enough credit. If that's the news, if that's your friends, if that's family or anything, or even people at the light rail, okay, they don't give someone with a disability, yeah, people need to give people with disability more credit. I mean, yeah, you may think we're all retarded, but guess what? We're not retarded, and we can still have kids. We can still do everything you can do, And ladies out there, if you happen to like someone that is disabled, don't be scared to talk to them. And I mean. Don't be scared to talk to me or any other disability, right, Alan?
Yeah, like for example, when I was really young, going through high school, I had a friend. I still have a friend, the same friend, that I was afraid to look at. I was afraid to talk to him because I thought it was I thought it was like I might offend him or something just talking to him. But I mean, living with a disability myself, I can definitely see there's no difference between between talking to somebody who's able-bodied and talking to somebody who has a disability. There's it's completely it's completely the same. In fact, there were up until 50 years ago, there were this was a common thing. I mean, people with disabilities were treated as if they were mentally retarded. The Canadian for Community Living prior to the World War I or World War II, I can't remember. Canadian Association for Retarded Children. Look at that now and say, what the hell? But this is where society was less like 3 decades ago, or 3 or 4 decades ago, and we need to move out of that. We need to respect that people with disabilities don't need to be treated like a third-rate citizen. They deserve the same amount of respect and and everything else that you would give to your standard to anyone that you talk to.
And final words.
Yeah, I believe I covered everything. Really, I don't have much in the way of final words other than I'd have to spend a few minutes thinking on that.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining this special report. But the point is of this special report, everybody, is to let you know that, people with disability, absolutely everything that you can. If that's opening a bank account, we can do the same thing. Yeah, we might be a little bit slower at it. Yeah, we might have a little need a little assistance. But hey, people, that's fine because people with disability, well, they're awesome. And Bill Gates, he's in a wheelchair and he's a millionaire. So hey, one day yes, I'm sorry, Stephen Hawking. One day I will be a millionaire And if you guys are nice to me, you guys might get some. So hey, just throwing that out there. But you know, a lot of people have disability, okay? You just gotta be nice, respectful, and if you see them in the store, don't just stand in the way. I see it all the time. Okay, talk about, you know, there, I'll tell you this. There was this old lady. She was just kind of sitting in the way, and I was like thinking, are you kidding me? Get out of the way. You know, so what I do is I pretty much say, yo, excuse me, trying to get through. Then she didn't want to move, and so I taught her how people with disabilities handle this. And let me tell you this, there's actually two ways to handle this. You could either go around to the other aisle and get to where you want, or you just go an inch close to the back of their legs and then just gently tap. But I don't do that. Trust me, I don't do that. I mean, sometimes I want to, but hey. Alan, do you have any final words yet?
Yeah, I actually have that same issue sometimes, just going through really crowded places. We got the largest mall in British Columbia, um, in our province, like 10 minutes away from my place. And it is a nightmare in there. Pedestrians uh, they don't, I mean, when they're out on the street, they're very careful about traffic. But when they see a wheelchair coming towards them, it's like they want to get hit. And and I mean, I don't. I'm not rude about it. I tell them, I have to shout basically to get them to acknowledge that I'm there, so that nobody, like, they don't hurt me, they don't hurt themselves. Another issue that I've had quite a bit is people that are on transit that lean against my joystick to try and stand up, which is a big no-no. So it's respect can go both ways.
Ain't that the truth? Thank you again to Alan for being on this special report. Had to say goodbye because, well, it's that time again. I don't like saying goodbye, but it's that time again.
We say goodbye.
Or not.
I can't remember that song. I don't know the lyrics.
For more information, please go to our lovely website at 3Ws, Tim's Weather Center News, Arizona.com, and also please hit the like button on Facebook at Tim's Weather Center News, Arizona. No, I'm sorry, at Tim's Weather Center News. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are trying to get 8,000 subscribers so I can get paid to do this. And remember to keep watching all of our videos. And make sure you check out Tim's Weather Center News this Sunday at 2 o'clock. And make sure you check out Dailiest Catch Daytona Recap this Sunday at 3 o'clock. And before we let you all go, we want to show you our lovely website. We really need you all to go to our website because that is where you get up-to-date news and weather and more. And I want to thank you for joining me. And I want to thank Alan for joining, and have a great day.